Well, Diablo 2 Resurrected, close beta just happened, and man, the hype is real indeedy do. We have to start this video by explaining to everybody how much Diablo 2 means to both of us.
Oh man.
I'll just start by saying that Diablo 2 was the first game ever that I have no-lifed, and this was 21 years ago. Man, I'm old.
20. You fucking
Christ.
goddamn, it was old. Diablo 2 was also the first action RPG and maybe the first RPG that I really played, and it was the point and click thing. I mean, I was a little bit too young to get into Diablo 1, but Diablo 2 changed how I saw gothic games, how I saw dark fantasy, how I think it was, although I did start with other games, it was maybe one of the biggest games that got me into Blizzard games.
Definitely. But hey, this is Game Base, a place where we talk all gaming culture. And welcome to the Diablo 2 Resurrected discussion, gameplay impressions, hyping it up because it is great. Do enjoy now, okay? Thank you.
All right. Well, first of all, let's actually talk about some of the bugs, I guess, because it was a little bit closed beta.
Yeah, let's start it off with the shit. Yeah, there was some shit.
So this is always a little bit shit.
On EU servers, because on NA I didn't heard as much complaining as what was when
with the server issues. Well, I mean, was that really a surprise to anybody? I mean, the amount of people that could get into closed beta by just simply pre-ordering it, which is kind of like a stigma right now, pre-ordering games. But by simply just pre-ordering, you would get into closed beta. The servers were full as shit. You couldn't actually read what people were typing in chat because the chat kept scrolling with people logging in and out, logging in and out, logging in and out. So suffice to say, at least for a couple of hours, the servers were pretty much unplayable, although some people seem to have gotten in. We weren't as lucky, so we kind of had to wait for the next day, which, I mean, it kind of sucks, but I mean, it's not a surprise, and it just goes to show how many people really wanted to try it out.
Yeah, I mean, at some point, I looked over on Twitch when the closed beta was actually open, and it was more popular than Fortnite. Diablo 2 being more popular than Fortnite. I mean,
people want it, man. People crave it.
Yeah. We had a couple of issues, with creating the games and joining and stuff. It didn't really made anything happen. Then the characters were in the lingo. Like after you logged in, you have to delete
there
one,
was some peer-to-peer connection issues. I mean, it's not like really peer-to-peer because you're kind of playing on the Battle.net servers, but everything, at least the beta that we tested out was the multiplayer beta. They opted to take out the TCP/IP connection, so we only had multiplayer. Now it seems like they've taken that out for good. I don't know if they would just took it out for this particular one, because if I recall, it was in technical alpha.
I think it's for. I think it's for good. Listen,
in any case,
we can talk about it a little bit. Okay, so I can totally understand the reasoning. They talked about security and stuff. Okay, that's fine and dandy. But the real truth is, if they allowed TCP/IP again, it basically would not. They would not be able to report.
It's a different time.
No, they will not be able to report. That's what it is. All right. They need that always online shit because they want to report the active, the MAUs and stuff like that. That's the truth behind it. We can talk about tech. We can talk about 2021 and how online stuff goes well as opposed to 2012. But that's not the video about this.
Yeah.
How is Diablo 2 Resurrected?
Right.
It's juicy. It's nice.
It's amazing.
Wow.
You're pretty excited. He was actually so excited that he stopped playing because he just wanted to get into the full game.
So yeah, I stopped. Exactly. I did with Flame Act 1. Which was really cool, but I didn't want to spoil myself anymore. I really want to take the full-on game because I love that story. I love that experience. Take it all the way, no spoils, nothing, on my own. Okay.
Well, let's talk a little bit about some of the things that were fixed and maybe not were fixed since technical alpha. I didn't follow all of the bugs that were in technical alpha. I know that a couple of them have been fixed, and what I've encountered so far were pretty minimal. There are some bugs that clearly weren't there with the original Diablo 2 Lord of Destructions. Like, for instance, there's some graphical issues with ground effect spells like Fissure, like Druid has, because I was running my Druid and it kind of seems to clip if you're at the edge of the map, which, I mean, I don't particularly think I care too much, but outside of that, I remember initially when they showcased Druid and Molten Boulder, it looked really clunky and really awkward, but playing with it right now seems to be really satisfying. And the fire effects, man.
Oh yeah.
Jesus.
So I remember it because I always try to, they have this function where you can swap in and out within the old version and the remastered version. Dude, I mean, it's incredible how seamless the transition is and how it's way cooler, and you can be much more in awe of the
Appreciative
effects.
of things.
Dude, they did an amazing job. So listen, Vicarious Visions, all right, because this is the team that has worked on this. Now they're part of Blizzard, of course, but these guys did a plus job in terms of like everything that looks, feels, and delivers that experience visually too. I mean, I'm pretty sure by this time you guys have saw the remastered cinematics. Oh my God, it's unbelievable. How did they do that? I don't know the amount of work or the crunch.
That's the thing, because cinematics are juicy and spicy. And they look dark, and it looks you can. I mean, cinematics are always gonna be good, and if whether or not Vicarious
as opposed to work after Reforged.
I don't know if Vicarious had 100% full reign on the cinematics, or if Blizzard, the Blizzard team came into maybe pointers, because Blizzard is known for having good cinematics, but it felt like the graphics were a little bit different, so I think they might have used like a kind of a different engine this time around, but they were really good. And it just, if you look at overall, like, okay, cinematics are one thing. If you really look, and especially like Marcin said, if you toggle the graphics on and off, you can see that they've actually designed the terrain differently. They've added extra doodads, they've added extra chairs, extra books, extra caravans that were destroyed, especially Tristram. If you really look at the old Tristram, it didn't really make sense that you were just enclosed by a big squarey fence, but right now you can see that there's actually a bridge, and the entrance to the town is being blocked by an overthrown cartridge. So it all of these little things add to what I believe that the Vicarious devs were actually fans of the original game.
Oh, of course, they definitely did justice. And talked about the engine, they did say that they started from scratch with the engine, and it was basically made on top of the Diablo 2 engine, original one. This is why you can toggle, between the two versions,
like
so
the StarCraft remaster.
Yeah, more or less the same thing. In terms of like the details, as Flame was mentioning, like, listen, when you played Diablo 2 back in the day, you couldn't really make out all the things that were over, in the terrains and the buildings.
You can use your imagination to fill in the pixels that were missing.
I remember us talking, in the Evil's Den in the first quest. You go into Act 1, and, we were looking at the brutes, because I never thought they were gorillas. I thought it was like some big ogre hairy thing. But when you look at them right now in the remastered, they actually look like big-ass gorillas.
Yeah, big Yetis, Bigfoots or whatever.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Now, in terms of like the experience we had, in a party, going through quests, looting items and stuff, all that same stuff. You gotta understand that one of the most beautiful things about Diablo, especially when played with other people, is that when you go and find items, you don't really need, or you can see that, oh man, I really need some more intellect, and you drop it as a barbarian or whatever. It's cool. It's like, hey man, I'm just gonna drop this for your ticket because you make much more use out of it. That's cool.
That's a cool feeling that I think was lost with Diablo 3. And I remember initially when Diablo 3 came in with like each person has their individual loot, that sounded cool initially on paper, but you kind of lost that connection to the world and that feeling of immersiveness that we're all in the same world and we're all benefiting from the same kind of materials.
Yeah, and then there's also the interface, right? I think everybody knows, the improvements they did. Right, they didn't want to change too much from the original, but quality of life stuff has been improved. Share stash and all of that.
That's actually a big thing, because I was going to point out the main issue with the TCP/IP being taken out is that people don't get to use mods anymore, and one of the most used mods was the expanded stash and shared stash, which is pretty crucial if you really want to play more than one character, especially if you want to play hardcore or ladder or stuff like that. You kind of want to be able to trade stuff that you find on one character to one of your other characters.
Yeah. Now, all that being said, right, we can talk about how cool it is to play your character and how meaty it is, especially when you play a barbarian. How the animations look, how the sounds feel. All the sounds of the original game are there. The lightning effects as well. Flame mentioned his fires, and effects. You can see that in dungeons, how everything reflects around. Everything is being done so far in this closed beta to, I would almost say, excellency, perfection, if you want. Now, there's still the open beta that is to come. I believe tomorrow. And a lot more of you guys will join in and test it out and see how it looks. But we're hyped right now because it left a really good impression. I'm sorry to say that Warcraft 3 Reforged could have had the same treatment and excitement and hype, but it's
not even in the same world, man. You can definitely tell the amount of passion that has been put into Diablo 2 Remastered, and I'm happy it is. I'm sad about the Reforged, but I'm glad that obviously. Hopefully the entire gaming industry has seen like what can these remasters do, and we can only assume at this point or speculate what it's going to be like on the 23rd and 23rd of September is when it's going to launch. Like I am really curious to see how the gaming community is, because Diablo 2 is one of the best franchises, and we're still living in a weird world where right now the games that probably cause the most hypes are games we've already played and they're just being remastered.
They were so good, man. Yeah, they were so good. It's it's the remaster. Every game company is coining on that nostalgia factor. We're the generation that really loves that nostalgia, so it goes without saying, it's a good business for them. It's good entertainment for us when it's made properly. Once again, I cannot praise the former Vicarious Vision, currently remaster team at Blizzard enough. They did an amazing job so far. Only thing I'm worried about at launch day is them actually taking seriously the problem with the servers and making, because they saw the popularity in the closed beta. They need to up their game.
This is the thing, because it might be something similar to World of Warcraft, where they know that the initial reception is that a lot of players are going to play, but they'll start to drop off, and they might not see it as worth investing into proper server stability, which is going to be shit. And obviously we won't have single player; will be strictly Battle.net play. And I think ladder will also be restricted at launch, so maybe there won't be as much of an incentive to play online on Battle.net, but that again, I guess we'll have to really see. I really hope they don't pull any punches with this. I really hope that they don't cut any corners, because so far it's been such an amazing experience to play it, and everything, like we could talk about all the little things forever, but everything that's been done has been crazy good, and you can keep looking on the footage that we're rolling on the background, and obviously you're gonna play for yourself in a couple of days, the open beta, just
open for everybody. It's very promising, and you have to let us know if you tried it, if you're interested, in the comments, obviously, because a lot more content on Diablo 2 is going to be on Game Base for sure, because we're maniacs like that. But hey, thank you very much for watching up until this point. You have a great week ahead, and see you all in a Sanctuary.
Yeah.